This is the third video in our Fact-Checking the FWC series. Today I want to introduce you to Matt Phillips. He is the section leader of invasive plant management for the FWC. In March, during the Orange Lake meeting, he made a statement that when hydrilla reaches high levels, it is detrimental to the lake. Take a listen.
You've got people sitting right here that have had a great experience with hydrilla. They've caught fish in it, they've hunted ducks over it, that kind of thing. But we know, just like you've heard here, when that gets to high levels, it has a detrimental effect on our fishery, on fish populations.
So we wanted to see all this hydrilla that Matt said was so detrimental. So Eric Cassells took us out on his airboat. This is McIntosh Bay on Orange Lake, and this is the bay with the highest level of hydrilla. It is even hard to get a prop boat in here because of all the hydrilla. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of coots and ducks. This used to be a very common sight in Florida, but unfortunately, it is a very rare sight to see this many birds. As far as you could see, there were birds in every direction. This was the most birds that I have seen on a lake in a very long time. As we slowed down, we could see that the water was very clear. There was only one reason for this clear water and all of these birds. It is because of all of this hydrilla. Eric cut the motor and we just sat there taking in all this beauty. This is what is known as topped out hydrilla. That is where the hydrilla is basically in the entire water column from the surface all the way to the bottom. We all know ducks love hydrilla, but Matt said that the high levels of hydrilla is detrimental to fish. So Scott couldn't resist. He pulled out his fishing rod and caught 7 specks in just 20 minutes. At the same time, Eric threw his net a couple times and caught a dozen very healthy live shiners. So much for hydrilla being detrimental to fish. But I don't want you to take our word for that. We tracked down one of Orange Lake's best tournament bass anglers, Joe Yarborough.
And it's amazing the amount of hydrilla that they have left alone. I will say they've left a good amount of McIntosh Bay, the north end alone, where there is some hydrilla, and it's amazing the clarity change when you go into these areas where all this hydrilla is growing.
The fish are beautiful in there.
Absolutely, the water's clear.
Yes,
it
sir.
clears up. Obviously, hydrilla is a natural filter. It clears the water up. There's bait alive everywhere. You know, they're hopping, they're flickering. You can see the shad, and you know that's where everybody's catching the bass at. I mean, it's no secret. That's where all the fish go. That's natural cover for them, and that's where all the bait holds. And yeah, you're 100% correct. McIntosh and the north end are just loaded with hydrilla, and it's beautiful up there right now.
So the water is clear. There are thousands of birds. We caught 7 specks in 20 minutes. We cast netted a dozen shiners, and the bass anglers all come to this area to catch their bass. Does anybody out there really think hydrilla is detrimental to the lake? Well, Matt thinks so, because he wants to spray this bay with herbicides and kill 1,200 acres of this beautiful environment. Say goodbye to all of this. So now I'm going to show you exactly what this bay will look like after the FWC sprays it. Because not far from here, they sprayed around another island about 2 months ago, and 2 weeks later, the massive die-off of gators, turtles, birds, and snakes. It even made the local news. The name of the island is Hickson Island, and as we approach it, we pass a large dead gator. That's Hickson Island in the background, right over that other dead gator. This was 2 weeks after the FWC picked up all the dead animals and took them to their lab. I guess they missed a couple. We finally got to the island and we found another dead gator. The smell was horrible coming from the island. It was obvious that there were a lot more dead things up on the land. I don't know about you, but I'm getting sick and tired of seeing dead animals in our lakes. The only thing that is detrimental to our lakes is the chemicals that the FWC is dumping into them.
It smells putrid.
Might be even poisonous smell. He's sitting here
Breathing it in.
breathing in poison. Who knows? Nobody tests it. What does it smell like?
It smells rotten.
It smells rotten. Methane gas.
They sprayed around this whole island, chopped it up, and let it sink to the bottom. There was so much muck that it was bubbling methane gas. This is very common after they spray. Methane gas is formed when vegetation rots. It is one of the causes of global warming. It also causes a collapse in the oxygen levels, and I doubt that there is any fish living in this area. They are all a mile away in all of the hydrilla. I can't begin to tell you how nasty this muck smells, and this is what the FWC wants to do more of. This lake can't handle any more of this muck. There are areas of Orange Lake that has 6 to 8 feet of this muck on the bottom.
Think we got a problem?
That is all rotten vegetation because they just chopped this area up. That's
Right.
what the bottom of our lakes look like.
Spray it, chopped it, all that.
We have got to stop this nonsense of chemical spraying these plants and then chopping them up so that they can sink to the bottom. We need to harvest these plants and get them out of the lake. 2 years ago, they harvested 36 acres. So let's go back to our Orange Lake expert, Joe Yarborough, to see what he thought about this project.
Well, Joe, last year we know that Mike and I went out and we filmed Texas Aquatic Harvesters with their long reach excavator and their barges where they removed that 36-acre tussock there at the bottom of McIntosh Bay. Can you tell me about what you've witnessed as far as the results and how that worked out?
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, they went in there and I watched them for, I think I had a tournament coming up, so I watched them for a couple of days. I'd go back there and kind of, you know, be messing around, and I'd peek through and see them over there. And they opened up, you know, I can't even tell you how many acres they actually opened up, and now you can actually access those areas. And I just was in there yesterday, and I mean, it's crystal clear. There's grass growing up.
Do you consider that a tremendous success?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys go in there and, you know, they take out stuff that nobody can access with a boat, just like what FWC says they do with their spray program.
Right.
And they remove it. I mean,
But they physically take the
Absolutely.
nutrients and the material out of the lake.
yep, I watched the guys do it. I mean, they're cutting it up, they take it out, take it to shore, and it's gone. And that's what we need. That's what we need more of. Orange Lake would be the perfect place for a mechanical harvester. If that hydrilla ever does grow up out there to where it becomes a navigational issue, you could run that mechanical harvester right down it a couple of times and open up lanes for boat travel.
So let's recap. According to Matt Phillips, this is detrimental, and this is how he wants to fix it? Come on, Matt. You really think that this is detrimental and that this is your solution? I believe everybody wants their lakes to look like this. Instead, you are trying to get us to believe that spraying, chopping, and letting it sink to the bottom is better? How stupid do you think we are? So Matt Phillips, your lies are so outrageous, they no longer fool us because we all have eyes and we can see for ourselves that you are killing our lakes. So for lying to us about the hydrilla being detrimental to our lakes, you get the Pinocchio Nose Award, so congratulations.